Michael Berg.
Hey, I'm Andrew Berg. Welcome back.
Welcome to another edition. We're going to briefly discuss week 2 before we actually go into week 3. We didn't have the opportunity to do the podcast the other week, so we're going to talk about some of the matchups. What was interesting is, there were a lot of mental mistakes actually in week 2 that cost a lot of teams a lot of victories, and I think that is a real strong point headed into the first 3 weeks of the season.
But that's why we had to revisit week 2. We just remember laughing about if we did a podcast how we bash people for it. And let's face it, that's all we're going to do actually for week 2. Talk about week 2 is just bashing you. So let's get right into it. Hot Rod and Scene drew a tie.
Which is interesting with our league because I think almost every single year we've wound up with a tie.
The last couple of years, it hasn't been every year, but it's been a growing trend of late for some reason. And well, this week I'd say they're going to get off the hook. I'm not really in a bashing mood on this game.
That was a very good game, though.
It was. We got nothing really bad to say about either opponent, but let's get a little more fun ones. Blitz and Solamente, Mike. How bad did I fuck up?
The offense really killed you when Philadelphia only scored 10 points.
Sam Bradford joined the part. I had 6
You could have scored Minnesota when you had Minnesota at the time.
I did, and I could have done that. The fun part was my opponent wound up stealing all 10 of my points anyway between Jordan Matthews and Cody Parkey.
Yeah, that's right. So it was successful Hag, Solmente getting their...
Great job, Solamente!
Getting their first win of the season, so...
Yeah, not a good week for me. Missed Allen Robinson for 12. Fergie headed in the sand week for the Blitz. Yeah. Other teams, the Boston and Rough Riders. The Rough Riders forgot to start their offense.
Yeah, they could have actually started Denver Thursday night. Okay, you considering that you started Peyton Manning, you figured that they would start Denver's offense as well, and that actually cost them.
Yeah, the replacement St. Louis was up to a task of 10.
There was another team that did something similar, with the exception of the fact that the game was on Thursday night.
We'll get to that later. Alright, next up, we got the Killer Toads and Smash Mouths. Anything we want? Oh boy, the Colts offense. Oh boy.
Yeah. You kind of expected the Colts to score more points than the Jets. I mean, the Colts only scored 7 points throughout the game. And this is surprising because he got great numbers for Carson Palmer, who put up 24 points in that game.
His offense, Arizona, was missing.
Yes. I was surprised because he had Arizona's offense, but yet he elected to start Carson Palmer.
So I guess he wanted he hedged the wrong direction.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of mental mistakes that have actually occurred.
But here's the funny part. He still won.
He still won. That's surprising.
Rob still won this week.
He still won
against the Smash Mouth, who got nothing from their trip running backs, and Tennessee's offense only went for 14 that week.
The offensive defense turned out to be a big mistake.
Yeah. Oh, what else we got here to make fun of? Oh boy, yeah. Here's number uno on our hit list: the Falcons White Walker game.
What was interesting is because Mariota had such a great performance week 1, he might have been listening to our podcast in week 1. That's what made him probably start Marcus Mariota.
Look, I wasn't serious. Look, I know he scored 4 touchdowns in week 1. That doesn't guarantee he'll do it the next week. Look at Big Ben on the bench.
But I was surprised because he started D'Angelo Williams. If you're going to start D'Angelo Williams, why not start Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown as well if you think that Pittsburgh's going to win the game?
Did Antonio Brown say something to upset him? Because I can't imagine why we're benching Antonio Brown any week of the season.
Yeah, I had no. Yeah, to me, I don't know why you start Mariota, despite that Mariota still had a good game, 12 points. But if you're going to start, D'Angelo Williams, you at least got to give Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown an opportunity.
I don't get it. Like Kendall Wright, but not Antonio Brown.
He didn't get anything from his supporting cast the rest of the game outside of D'Angelo Williams.
He only lost this one by 15. Credit to the Falcons though for using the 21 in a dead week for them on defense. Both of them.
But this is a game that the White Walkers could have won. The Falcons have eked out 2 victories this season against teams that
shot themselves in the foot.
Exactly.
Alright, next game up, we got the Pidskins and Bolts. Oh boy, so let's check in on how that 50-50 strategy is working.
It didn't. It didn't work out because, Tom clearly felt that Baltimore was going to win the game. I think more so on the defensive end, he lost as opposed to the offense. I mean, Baltimore still put up 33. It's other option New England who put up a little bit more offensively, but I think the key was that the defense, he trusted Baltimore not to allow a lot of points. Matter of fact, he thought Baltimore would win the game, which they didn't to Oakland. So 37 points. I took advantage of it. The only problem that I did is that I used one of my 21s when I really didn't have to. It didn't cost me the game, but I still had an opportunity to save it.
Dallas's 4, you missed Dallas's 4.
Yeah, I missed Dallas's 4.
Alright, that's our quick week 2 recap. As you can see, we did have a lot of fun looking at it. You guys.
We're going to even have a lot more fun looking at week 3.
All right, well, let's dig on it, Mike. Blitz and Scene
One of the highest scoring games, actually.
of the year, actually,
Of the year,
between
to
two
this
teams.
point, in week 3. And it was only an 8-point victory. It was very close, but Larry's going to be kicking himself because he started New England's defense, which also put up decent numbers against Jacksonville. I mean, he had more faith in New England's defense against Jacksonville as opposed to Arizona against San Francisco.
He had the
in
one.
hindsight.
He had the one defense that can do better in Seattle. I had
Yeah.
the second best defense in the league with pitching the shutout. He had the best defense, but your best defense is only good when it's playing.
I don't think that he predicted 2 touchdowns. So
I could
but
predicted a lot less points. Even if we took that away, they only allowed 7 on the game.
Yeah, with the blowout alone, they had points
That
coming
would
in
have
garbage
been
time.
the margin was that close, and this was a great game all around. You
It
had
was.
Brady, Peterson, Fitzgerald, Hanushka, all double digits for the Scene.
You know, Peterson actually came alive, scoring 12 points for him, actually. And this could be good things to come, actually, if he uses it right. It's a hard bullet. I mean, 2 touchdowns.
You know, the blitz.
2 interceptions.
Now look at the blitz here: 18 from Charles, 12 from Green, another 6 from Marshall. Supporting cast again.
Had good balance.
Actually, I took out his whole offense actually between Charles and Smith.
Pretty much. When he started Kansas City, you did hedge pretty much his entire offense. So, but I think the biggest difference was the goose egg with Seattle.
Yeah, no, this was a game the Scene had. They had it. They had it. They had
They
this
had
one.
it if they started the right defense. And how many opportunities do you really have to win when the defense allows a shutout?
Yeah, you know, I agree with the sigh of relief on this one that I took that win down.
Yeah.
But let's get into a bit of a longer discussion here, Mike. What do we think of the Scene going into after 3 weeks?
I still think they could be a strong team. I still think that our division actually is the weakest out of all of them. If he makes the right moves, he could actually still be in contention.
My headache is his management style right now. He dropped Drew Brees this week.
Perhaps he'll listen to the podcast and learn, just like almost all of us will. But I'm looking at the fact that he still has 2 great players in Brady and Peterson. But what I'm really more shocked about is the transaction that he made earlier this week when he just released Drew Brees. Now, this is a chip that you could have used to either trade for somebody else to help you this year or even draft picks for the following year. He could have at least helped his supporting cast. He's gotten great numbers out of Larry Fitzgerald this year. I just don't know how long it's going to last. So, to me, he has LaShawn McCoy, who's injured right now. There's not too much that's going on with his flex position, so really he's heavily relying on his quarterback, his running back, his offense, his defense.
Which is his offensive defense, a little frisky with KC Carolina combo, actually. Not bad 3 weeks
It's not
in.
bad. It's really
And
not.
Arizona looks like an elite defense.
Yeah. No, he certainly has an elite defense out there, but I can't believe that he expectedly just let go of Drew Brees when obviously someone was going to snatch him. And it sounded like Brees was going to be out for the whole year.
All right, Mike, what do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down for Larry to proceed with the playoffs?
You know what? I'm going to use a different phrase. I'm going to say he's more out to lunch.
He's more out to lunch?
I think he's more out to lunch.
What's out to lunch?
It's in the middle.
He's kind of in the middle?
He's kind of in the middle, yes.
I'm going to go, unfortunately, because of the lack of management, I'm going to give him a thumbs down here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to use this team correctly for the rest of the season. I've already watched it firsthand, watching him throw games away. I'm not sure if his team does start having those bad weeks, he's not going to find the best lineup. So I'm going to go thumbs down for Larry right now. But what about the Blitz, Mike? What's their 3-game recap?
I think the Blitz have played well to this point. You had a successful hedge. You still have a strong offense and a strong defense.
Do I have a strong offense?
Yes.
You're banking Philly, huh?
Yes. I do think that Philadelphia will improve as the season
I'd
goes on.
say I would say that's my biggest hurdle right now is what is my offense going forward that's going to scare someone.
I still think that Chip Kelly will put it together. So I think that Philadelphia will get more points. I think they've struggled, to start the year, but it's only 3 weeks in. I still think you should have a lot of confidence with your offense.
How's the rest of the team looking?
Seattle's still a top quality defense.
All right.
And you still got a good quarterback. You did pick up Breeze actually, so Breeze might help you.
It feels so good.
You still have
One more time.
Gronkowski. You still have Jamal Charles and AJ Green. So it's a great supporting cast. So I still think it's a pretty strong team.
So we thumbs up and thumbs down in the
I'll
Blitz.
also give you a thumbs up. Sure.
Thumbs up. All right. I'm recusing as it's really redundant. Redundant. All right. Let's go to our next game, Mike. Hot Rods and Solamente. What do you think?
This was just a typical Solamente win to me. He averages those type of points per game. He had a great offensive-defense combination. He, again, reunited with Houston.
The G-Men.
And he picked up the Giants. So the Giants put up 30 points.
Eli went for 12. Odell, another 6.
This is just
points out of them.
a great offensive combination. Now, whether or not this is going to happen throughout the rest of the year is yet to be seen. But so far, you like what you see. 12, 6, 30, those are just great numbers.
9 from Houston's defense, which I like, because one thing he's always had a problem with is having good defensive games, and he got one today.
He got one during week 3. The key is whether or not this is going to be consistent throughout the whole year.
Well, Moncrief has been a good find for him on the bench.
Sure,
at wide receiver.
I think Moncrief could give him 6 every now and then.
Jimmy Graham joined the touchdown
Finally
zone.
got his first TD, so hopefully there'll be good things to come, actually, for Jimmy Graham in Seattle. But really, his key to victory was the combination with Manning, Beckham, and the Giants' offense.
Well, to our hard luck losers, the Hot Rods, we're still waiting for your first W. What do we got to say about them this week, Mike?
I think what really has plagued them all year is the supporting cast so far, which has made them a very weaker team, despite the fact that they have Andrew Luck, and Luck may pick it up. Luck could be good for 12 to 18 points every now and then. The key is, what is the rest of his team going to be doing?
Lamar Miller's been a bust so far. Deion Lewis has been nice for him, getting
He's got 6 points. You got Owen Daniels 6 points last week, but he hasn't gotten any great production out of the wide receiver core. He's got a killer offense. Okay, the question is, how often does he rely on, the 50-50 with Green Bay, or the combination between Green Bay and his other defense, which is Denver. So he does have two defenses he could rely on. The question is, how often does he interchangeably use them with the 50-50 with his offense?
All right, what do we think of the Hot Rods 3 weeks in, Mike? How we rating their assessments?
To this point, I still think it's a little bit of a weaker team based upon the supporting cast.
Yeah, I gotta go thumbs down on the Hot Rods. Looking at what's been going on for him 3 weeks in, I know I picked them for the division to maybe get the division, but this has been like kind of the worst case scenario of what I envisioned for their team. They had already had 1 week this season where supporting cast came empty-handed and cost them the game. I don't know. Green Bay's lighting up 38 points a game, and it's still not enough right now. If Green Bay slows down just a little bit, I have concerns about the Hot Rods going forward at this point, so I have to go thumbs down. What do you think of Salmente, Mike, at 2-1 to start the year?
I still think it's a decent start, but I'm still not going to buy the Salmente. I'm not going to give him thumbs down just yet. It's say more of a in the middle and out to lunch sort of thing, because I don't know exactly how long this combination is going to last with the Giants. Okay, I also am concerned about his defense. I don't know how much great production he's going to get out of Houston throughout the course of the year. So his supporting cast isn't terrible, but it's not prolific.
It's not as good as we thought it was.
It's not as good as we thought. So
Brandon Cooks doesn't look as solid this year. Jordan Matthews.
So far,
it's
only week 3, so we could get good production out of Cooks going forward. I'd still say it's more out to lunch, but still a team that could do damage.
Right, I'm going thumbs up with him. I got faith in the Salmente's management style over the years. He still has a deep roster, and players can figure out he has the most leverage in this league to do what he needs to do in terms of lineup submissions every week. And I got a feeling maybe his running game will figure it out. C.J. Anderson and Isaiah Crowell have not looked as good. C.J. Anderson, I believe, is on Fantasy's most wanted list actually right now.
Which can mean he could step up at any point and have a monster game.
He better before they start. Yeah, before they get the lynch mob.
Maybe before.
But I'm buying the Salmente right now. I am buying them. All right, Mike. Our next game features the Coratos and Rough Riders. What we got for the 2 rookies? These are from the same rookie class, actually.
Yeah. Not enough firepower by the Killer Toads in this contest. When you have great production numbers of the supporting cast from Manning, from Cobb, who had 18, Demaryius Thomas chipped in with 6. This is what they do. He'll fly as long as Denver really flies.
Denver flew this week. Not as high as normally, but they flew enough. They flew enough between that and getting 12. He was able to get the Demaryius Thomas connection. Yeah. That's 19 points when that happens.
Sure. Looking at this particular game, he got enough from his supporting cast to defeat Rob. That's really in a nutshell. Even out on the defensive end, Rob finally got great production numbers out of the Colts. He had a plus 11 with the defense. It's just that he didn't get great production from anywhere else.
No, and this is an issue I've had with Rod's roster when we talked about preseason contest. We talked a little bit about the Killer Toads 3 weeks in. I looked at supporting cast and said, "Oh my God, this can be disastrous."
He's got a very good quarterback. Okay, but the key is, what is the rest of the supporting cast going to do?
Carson Palmer in Arizona, he has a great two-headed dragon at offense between
Yes, he
Arizona
does.
and Indiana. The problem is, though, he's guessing wrong every week.
The key is his supporting cast. I mean, Adula actually has had a couple of touchdowns for him. And Cooper's had a good year.
Cooper's had more yardage, though. He's not getting any red zone targets. And
Not yet.
Not yet.
That may come. That may come, and maybe T.Y. Hilton gets a turnaround lately. I mean, points eventually will come for a supporting cast.
I just don't know
the key is exactly when and how often.
Darren Fells at tight end might as well be punting that position out. He might have been better off with the invisible man.
He might have from his first week.
But I'm going thumbs down on the killer until it's 3 weeks in. I'm not a fan of what I see. It's kind of actually confirmed what I thought about their team going into the season so far. There's nothing here that really has changed my mind. What about you, Mike? You thumbs up or down on the Killer Toads?
Right now, yeah, I would be down, and I'm not as high on the supporting cast right now.
No. What about Ben, Mike? How's the Rough Riders?
I'm gonna buy Ben. Despite the mediocre combination he's got at the running back position, I think wide receivers he's got tremendous flexibility. I do. I with Thomas and with Cobb, I feel that he could actually run the table a little bit. I mean, I still very high with Denver. I'm high on the Jets defense. I think they'll play much better. He was fortunate enough where he was able to get this game when his defense really didn't show up. So, to me, I could still buy Ben.
I'm actually going to be in a holding pattern on Ben on this. I'm not really, it's kind of like the same thing I thought about this team at the start. I'm just not really sure where he's going right now. And the sheer variety of his transactions every week make it interesting what he can compile. So I think the jury's still out on Ben.
I do prefer his combination with Denver as opposed to Salmentes, who's got the Giants. I do prefer that.
I'm
more sold on his defense as opposed to Salmentes. I'm more sold on that too.
Okay.
That's why I give Ben a little bit of the advantage.
Okay.
I can buy that for that reason. I don't think his running back core is terrible. I think, if he gets 6 per week, I certainly think that he could run the table as long as his 2 big wideouts put up numbers.
All right, so not too bad of a stature board for a 1-2 squad. But let's go to our next game. Big one this week, actually, between our 2 division leaders. Actually, no, not 2 division leaders, actually. But
no, they're not.
2 good teams, though.
They might eventually.
Eventually, perhaps, but not yet. Smash Mouth and Bossman, though. What do we think of this game?
It's tough to actually win when you have Aaron Rodgers putting up those type of numbers again.
This is what Aaron Rodgers does, though. This is why he traded for him a year ago.
That's
this
right.
Is why he's on. This is why he's franchise tag.
That's right.
Because every now and then, Aaron Rodgers comes and he just takes the game away from you.
You just have to be the team that's not playing Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. For 10 other teams, they were fortunate. The Bossman drew the short straw.
Yes.
30 from Rodgers, 12 from Steve Smith. Tennessee's offense, their biggest weakness is offense, went for 33.
Yeah, surprising enough, that might be his biggest weakness with Tennessee and Chicago. He might have better production numbers out of Tennessee with Mariota. Okay, throughout the long run, that might be more helpful as a poor Chicago team. So offense to me might be his biggest flaw. Defensively, actually, it's not bad with St. Louis, but you just don't know what you're going to get per week with them. So to me, I think the biggest strength he has outside in the quarterback position is obviously the biggest strength. This is supporting cast. I like his supporting cast. I think
Travis Kelce's done very well for him.
Kelce's done very. His offensive defense doesn't scare me as much, which is where I think might be his biggest weak spot.
It's the thing we worry about. But looking at 3 weeks in, he's really done a decent job.
He's done a decent job, and some of these players are not even broken out yet. Jeremy Hill's not broken out since week 1.
I think a thumbs up on the Smash Mouth 3
I
weeks in.
still give him a thumbs up. I still think last year though he had a stronger team as opposed to this year.
I agree he had a stronger team last year, but I don't think there's anything right now to think that he's not on pace to do what we thought this season.
I would
which
agree.
is to be a Super Bowl contender. We thought this way about him, and
I think it's only a matter of time before you see Jeremy Hill and Matt Forte. He still has got the best running.
Forte eventually will get his quarterback back and might be productive again.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Bossman a bit. This was a tough week for them. There was really not much we could say about their team. 12 from Gore was nice. Murray went for 6. This team was really stuck in a corner, and there's just no way they were getting out of it.
They were just not getting out of it. There was nothing on the roster they could actually do. They got good production numbers from Seattle's offense. San Diego's defense did let him down, but then again, he didn't really have too many options.
And the 21 wouldn't really be worth it.
Would have been worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smash must have this game won easily.
But how do you think of the Bossman 3 weeks in? They're solid 2-1 right now.
They're solid 2-1, which is interesting. Their supporting cast doesn't scare you.
Not as much as we thought.
Not as much as we thought. I mean, how often are you going to get points from Frank Gore?
Actually, is Russell Wilson really scaring you 3 weeks in either? There's something odd about Seattle's offense this year.
It's only 3 weeks in.
You're just getting a flavor out of Boss Man.
You know what? I think he's more stronger at the running back position. Not as strong as a Smash Mouth, but that's the best part about his line because his wide receivers don't scare you at all.
No, he walked up with Torrey Smith, who I don't think has been cited this year.
No.
Tyler Eifert looks like one of his better
Eifert
players.
has been one of his better players this year, but overall the offense does not scare. The supporting cast doesn't scare you. The offense and defense, I think, are solid.
The offense has issues though. With no Big Ben in town now, Pittsburgh's offense is going to be a little tougher.
That's
now.
the key. Injuries have taken their toll a little bit. With the injuries at the quarterback position, Romo out. The White Walkers now don't have Roethlisberger.
Well, we'll get to the White Walkers, but I'm gonna say the jury's still out on this team right now. It's a little tough to grade them 3 weeks in based on this
I'm
injury.
not buying them right now.
You're not buying them.
I'm not buying them right now because they're a supporting cast. I don't think I buy Murray and Forsett more than I would buy Frank Gore.
Ooh, all right. You see, he's anti Frank Gore. He's not calling that the. All right, to our next game, or let's call it our next noble efforts, featuring our biggest blowout of the week.
The Bolts, who put up a whopping 97 points.
Well, they almost started sticking 99 bottles of beer on the wall during this game. They got almost that high.
Yeah. You know what?
Welcome back to the starting lineup of New England. You were
good
missed.
for Tom getting. No, it only counts as one win, Tom. By the way, when you triple the score, it only still counts as one win.
He also did something impressive. He found the kicker who couldn't kick a point evidently.
Yeah,
that's
you
also
were
impressive.
the kicker this week. Yeah, you could have let Prater on the bench if you wanted to. But hey, the signing of Tyrod Taylor helped with 18.
Solid 18. Everyone actually went nuts. Everyone met Prater.
Yeah.
Since only 0 of the week.
This was remarkable, and really, he didn't need the supporting cast. You're just going to start New England.
Well, if it's any consolation, White Walkers, you did win the kicker battle.
Yes.
Phil Dawson did give you 1.
1-0. 1-0.
It's our most ineffectual kicking battle I've ever seen.
But and White Walkers didn't really have a chance in this one. They went back and they started Roethlisberger. They started Brown. Unfortunately, it was just not enough.
Unfortunately, Mariota did actually have a good game.
Yeah, he actually did have a better game than Roethlisberger this time.
He's stuck on the wrong way each week right now at quarterback.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Williams, Le'Veon Bell's back.
Yeah. So they scored 6 there, Ingram there. So I think he's going to get good solid numbers throughout the season throughout his running backs. I really do. The wide receivers is the one thing that does scare me a little. But Hopkins has done well to this point.
Well, in terms of the Bolts, I gotta say, 3 weeks in, I'm buying.
You gotta be impressed.
I'm buying the Bolts.
Freeman was a good free agent signing.
Yeah, Freeman's that was the Rough Riders loss, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm buying the Bolts right now.
I would buy it.
Despite the fact that they're really playing without a defense this year.
Yes.
Their defense has been atrocious for 3 weeks, quite frankly.
I would buy the Bolts.
I'm buying. What do you think of the White Walkers, though? They're having an intriguing first 3 weeks in our season.
They lost Roethlisberger. Williams is now going to be back to the bench, so I don't expect too many touchdowns for him throughout the rest of the year.
Keenan Allen's been surprisingly a good pick.
His running back is a weak core. Allen's a terrific wide receiver.
James Jones, he has a good wide receiving core right
his
now.
wide receiving core actually is the best part. Now, the good news is that he has tremendous depth at the quarterback position to compensate for the loss of Roethlisberger.
He's hobbled though. Roethlisberger's hurt. Romo's out for Dallas. That hurts him there.
Yeah, but Whedon can still put up numbers. Dallas's offense is still score as Whedon as they did last week. So I can still buy Dallas scoring. Okay, but you feel more confident, obviously, with Romo in there as opposed to Wheaton. He's not going to get any production out of his running back position throughout the whole year. That's the way I look at it there. He needs to heavily rely on his receiving core, and that can almost lead to your downfall because they're not going to be productive almost every single week. Brown Jones has been a great free agent signing. He scored every single game he's been in. Keenan Allen finally woke up and had 12. Unfortunately, it was wasted. In this particular round. Not that Allen would have mattered because the Bolts just had too much firepower in this game.
But 3 weeks in, Mike, are we buying or what do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down for the White Walkers?
I'd still sell them right now.
I'm selling the White Walkers too. Their management has been a little spotty so far this year. They're hampered with injuries. This is only getting tougher on him each week. He's already down to 2 quarterbacks from the 4 he drafted.
That's right.
That's one way of solving your problem at quarterback. Just keep getting them injured. And then we turn to our... Oh boy, I don't think we were going to talk about...
Lopsided.
Yeah, the Falcons versus the Pigskins.
The score was...
Or 3/10 of the Pigskin.
Yeah, the score was not as great. It was terrible. Because everything that I did was wrong.
You want some points from me, Mike?
Yeah, with the exception to my kicker, everything I did was wrong. The hedge didn't work. I couldn't... And the fact is that I should have started the 21 this week as opposed to the prior week, which is fortunate. It didn't matter what did the defense because either way, with Kansas City and Dallas, both of them got whooped. And Detroit, who I finally gave an opportunity to, let me down. I could have started Cincinnati and Dalton, who went berserk on Baltimore, and that actually was the difference because if I started Dalton and Cincinnati, I would have wound up beating the Falcons.
And here's the funny part about this. For everything he did wrong, the Falcons did right.
Right.
He believes in Dallas' defense. Falcons believe in Atlanta's offense. Guess which one won that battle?
Yes.
That's a 78-point gamble.
That was a tremendous swing, and considering he didn't get anything.
That was it. That's all he needed.
That's all he needed because it didn't matter. Because the supporting cast, let the Falcons down, but it just didn't matter because of poor management.
Yeah.
If I started Cincinnati, then I would have won this contest.
I like to call this the free parking game of the week because this is where the Falcons sat down, did one thing, and then just watch the other team just explode.
It was bad. It didn't matter what Julio Jones did, who had 12 points for me. He's actually been a solid player for me all year.
Alright, we're going to go through the quick top... let's actually do a quick recap, though, of where we think the Pigskins lie, Mike. I'll talk about your team here. This is tough on you right now.
I don't like it.
No, your team has serious problems right now, and I don't know what you're doing at offense. Your management has been poor so far 3 weeks in.
I was probably even fortunate just to get that one win against
I think
it's a big win. It's a divisional win. Still, it counts. Nevertheless,
that was more because your opponent handed you that win.
To me, I need more production on my supporting cast to be a contender.
You have to get the offense and defense right. You're guessing wrong half the time. You're not picking the right. You're making the wrong choices.
I think Cincinnati scored twice this week. So twice in week 1 and week 2. So
but your defense you're screwing up.
Yeah, the defense is
last week you take the 21 and someone gives you a 4. This week you don't take the 21 and your defense goes for 39.
I'm gonna have more problems again this week on this particular end.
Yeah, this is right now. I'm not buying your team.
And Marshawn Lynch is supposed to be my biggest actually.
This is not the improvement I thought. Andy Dalton might have exploded better if he was a quarterback, but I'm still thumbing down on you until you get your head in the game right now. 3 weeks in, it's not pretty.
I would agree.
But let's talk about the biggest surprise in our league.
The only undefeated team who's
the Falcons are the last team standing as they're the only team to sweep their quadrant to start the season, Mike. Tell us about the Falcons' run here 3 weeks in.
You know what? I think they take advantage of mistakes by 2 of the other teams because they clearly would have lost the other 2. Do I think this is a team that actually could contend? Yeah, I still think it could contend because there are players that have still not produced this year. Calvin Johnson and Stafford have not produced. They're 0-3 this year, but I can assure you there will be breakup games between the 2. His running back positions have been very weak. Gordon eventually will wind up getting a score and be production for him. Sanders actually has been a good acquisition.
The wide receiving core has actually been better for him this year.
It's been better, and he's got nothing out of Calvin Johnson, which is surprising.
He's also pelted up there with Shard Matthews. Stevie Johnson apparently is not dead weight.
I do like his offensive defense. Okay, when you have Atlanta and San Diego, I still like both of those.
Anchored with Buffalo, and
Buffalo had great support for him.
And here's been the best thing about the Falcons' first 3 weeks. Really, they haven't made many mistakes in their lineup. They've really They've really gotten the maximum points out of their team for the first 3. It hasn't been too much they could have done differently, and they've hit maximum points, and that's a good thing to have because if you're making the right decisions and you have opponents like the person next to me, overthinking things. It leads to victories. That it's just simply trucking along. But to be honest, though, I'm not buying this is going to last. I'm not buying the Falcons to be the best team in the league when all is said and done.
I think the key is that the Falcons play in a very tough division.
Yeah, I think
I think they can still contend. I still think they'll be right there. And the possibility of the wild card spots, concerning you can wind up with 3 within the AFC.
I think that's a point Cass is going to get to eventually. I think considering all the right decisions they're making, they haven't put together too many games where they were like in the 60s really. It's always like 39-45. I'm thinking like if they ever get something wrong, like they're going in the tank with that. So I get some concerns about the Falcons, but at the same time, they're 3-0. Hey, nothing to be keep moving on right now.
Right.
Like take it week by week. If your opponents are going to nail it in, enjoy. But let's go with my favorite edition now, the top 5 moronic displays of intelligence.
Are we talking about week 2 or week 3?
Oh, yeah, I think we covered week 2 enough. But don't worry, Mike, you'll be mentioned in the next couple seconds.
I'm mentioned for just about all of them. You can throw me under the bus for just about everything.
No. There's two other people here who will get some mention here. Number 5, we're just gonna give a special shout out to the White Walkers Bolts game for their 1 point combined from kicker.
Yes.
That's
Dawson, 1, Prater, nothing.
That's an impressive miraculous display of intelligence on both your parts, finding like the 2 worst kickers in the NFL next to
Josh Lambeau only had 2 for the Falcons.
I know, so 0, 1, 2. So not bad.
I don't want to play golf.
impressive scoring. Number 4, we'll go to the Pigskins. Let's see, Mike, what do you want to pick for number 4 for you? Because you have
think you could multiples. I could go.
Let's go with Dalton.
Let's go. Dalton, Cincinnati. It's all tied up together.
Let's go. But missing the Cincinnati combo.
Yeah.
Number 3 also goes to you. You want to pick something else for yourself?
Yeah, I'll throw in the defense. I'll throw in the defense of the 21. Now, to me, I had no choice. Okay, or I could have gone with 21. But this week, as opposed to the last week in week 2 where I should have chose Dallas. It didn't matter. I was screwed either way if I chose other defense, but I should have taken the 21 at least.
Number 2? No, did we even pick anything for number 2? I know it's number 1, but
I know you. If you want to pick on them,
you know what's getting number 1.
Yeah, I know
it was the obvious decision of the week.
If you want to mention honorable mention for the Hot Rods not starting Denver's defense.
Yeah, that's already number 2 words. Let's bump them down to 4 and just move you up to 3 and 2. That's fair.
Fine.
Number 1 has to go to the scene for Arizona's defense. This was a game-defining moronic display of intelligence as it cost them the game and cost them like a +7. It's a 24-point swing they missed.
Yeah. I mean, I could have won that game, and so could have seen.
And it's inexcusable, and it's why you're sitting at 1-1-1. But congratulations, you did win the moronic display of intelligence. All right, but let's turn to week 4, Mike. What we have to look for ahead as we're starting to close out quarter 1 of the season. Let's see.
I'd rather go with the 2 division leaders right now, the Falcons and the Sea, as the game of the week.
I agree. Falcons and the Sea. The 2 teams the preseason podcast was never high on, but at 3-0 and 1-1-1, this is a good make or break game for the Sea.
I would agree. I'd like to see what happens. Falcons have a good opportunity, perhaps, to go to 4-0. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what Larry does and see if Larry makes any adjustments with the squad. I think also Blitz and Kill-Tones should get some honorable mention too.
Divisional game here.
It's a big divisional game.
You worry here if the Kill-Tones can't get this one. They go 1-3.
Yes, so I think it's a big game for both teams.
I think the Kill-Tones need this. I think the Kill-Tones need that to stay in the race, to keep up.
I would agree.
Other games, we got the White Walkers versus the Rough Riders, our other divisional matchup. This is a 1-2 battle here in the bottom of the NFC. What do you think, Mike? Rough Riders or White Walkers?
I believe in Manning.
I probably would say I believe in Manning. So does Ben.
Don't we all? I don't know. Marcus Mariota is not available this week, so I'm going to have to believe in Peyton Manning too.
Can the Hot Rods get off the schneid?
Hot Rods.
They're the only team that's not won a game so far this year.
Yeah, it's the Hot Rods and the Boss Man. I don't know. I think Green Bay is in for a good week. I imagine. Seattle against Detroit, not easy. Actually, I think you already won Pittsburgh's offense anyway, so you know you got 20.
Yeah.
That should be points. Hot Rods should win that advantage at least. And maybe if Andrew Luck plays, a good matchup against Jacksonville. So
I actually like the Hot Rods chances.
Yeah, I think the Hot Rods do get their first win finally this year. Let's see, who else we got? Oh, we got the Bolts and Salamente. What do you think, Ravens versus Giants?
I don't know. We'll see what the Salamente elects to do this week. We already know what Tom did with the offense and defense.
Yeah, Bolton and Salamente scored.
Again, it'll come down to what you elect to do with your supporting cast.
Yeah, that and also which version of the Giants we're going to see. Are we going to see the good Giants or the bad Giants?
That's also a good
question. Or the funny part,
that's if the Salmente
do that. Drew Brees is back and Drew Brees is back, so maybe New Orleans gets back.
I think he goes with New Orleans. That's what I think.
Or maybe he'll just do it because Mike told him to by watching this podcast. Who knows? And our pillow fight of the week will feature our Smash Mouth versus the Pigskins.
You know what? I might have a fortunate matchup this week. I might. It depends upon how well Rodgers and Lacey do.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think that's going to be the key. His offense is going to buy. One of his offenses, he says, has a buy.
He's thinking Aaron Rodgers can't possibly go for another 30.
Yeah, that's a good news. So I think he got all those throwing touchdowns out of his system. Now, I know he's against San Francisco. I know he'll get points. But I don't think he'll throw for 5.
I know the plus side.
Expect 4 from Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, look, I'll be lucky if he winds up with a combination with Lacey and Rodgers at 18.
And on the plus side, hey, he's not put more than 3 points this week.
Yes.
But let's see what week 4 does, everyone. So bring us on. It's been a longer podcast this week, but hopefully you missed us for 2 weeks. So I'm Andrew Berg.
Michael Berg.
See ya.